Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk, where this morning we're not going to be talking about comic books until the very end, but we're going to talk with some great creators right now. And this is going to be broadcast right now live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you see it, share it, let people know we're out here and broadcasting. I got to change my settings real quick because every time I post it on Facebook, it makes me switch the settings. So if any of you have a Facebook or something, you can share it on your StreamYard and get it out there on all of our different accounts. So before we start with our topic for the day, let's introduce who we have in this room. We have some great creators in here. So first we're going to start with Timothy. Tell us about yourself.
My name's Timothy Fling. I am a writer and musician from York, Pennsylvania. And thank you very much for inviting me. I'm always excited. My new angle is to talk about music whenever possible. John already knows a good bit of this. I'm a musical kind of guy. It's something that inspires me. And I'm probably... Before I used to say I was 50% comics, 50% music. I've been leaning a little harder into music lately, so we're going to see what happens. But I'm real excited to talk about this topic.
Awesome. All right, John, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I am John Westhoff. I am the writer, letterer, and publisher for Part-Time Comics. And like Tim said, I'm kind of getting the mantra of the music guy, which is fine with me. That's something I really think there's even though there's been a lot of cool projects coming out lately, there's never enough music-themed comics and music talk in general. So happy to be on.
Awesome. Dash, tell us about yourself.
All right, I'm Dash. I'm from Guthrie, Oklahoma. I am an aspiring author, if you will. I do have my own nonfiction out on Amazon right now. Dash, it's Why I Love Superman and Other Superheroes, One Veteran's Journey to Find Himself Through Superhero Motivation. Find that at Amazon. I'm working on my first fiction book, and hopefully October I will have that signed, sealed, and delivered up on Amazon. It is a Western / fantasy / horror mashup. So looking forward to seeing that one come out real soon.
Nice.
But happy to be here. I love music. You know me, I post a lot of music stuff on my Facebook. So
yeah, that's why I thought, all right, I got to get Dash on this one because you're always posting music things. And what I like is you're always like, okay, what should I listen to right now? And people give you suggestions and you check it out. And I do that same thing. I put a Spotify playlist and I'm like, hey, here's an open Spotify playlist. Drop what's good, because I'm always looking for something new. And my original intent was to launch a full music podcast, because one thing I don't talk about a lot with creators is I've done a lot of concert recordings for bands where I've been the official recorder at shows where they're not letting them patch into the soundboard. Because if you know LA loves to charge you for every little thing. And one of those things is when a band comes in town, they want to patch into the soundboard and they're like, that's great, $5,000 if you want to get that soundboard feed. So that's when they call me and they're like, hey, we can't get a soundboard feed. Come in with your equipment and record the show for us. And yeah, I've done that for multiple bands. So that's kind of what I do. And another time, so if you look at my Instagram, my personal Instagram, it's just loads and loads of concert photos and things that I've done for other bands. So yeah, they're happy to get it because LA is brutal. And if you're a little band coming in, you can't afford that $5,000. I mean, if obviously the big bands aren't calling me, that's for the smaller indie bands that want to hear what they did, look at it later. Yeah, that's what I do. So this is one I've been excited about doing for a long time because it just kind of feeds into my love of music. And I reached out for people that I know. John, with Drumsticks of Doom, I just kind of assume, all right, he knows his music stuff, and then was surprised to know that Primus is your number one band. So I was thinking, it's got to be Sabbath when you did that. But it's like, I guess it couldn't be, bass, Les Claypool's Bass of Doom. It wouldn't work as well.
Primus of Doom, that'll be the sequel.
Primus of Doom, yeah, the sequel. There you go.
I love to rip on Primus. I'll just jump in here. If the book was based on Primus, it would be the same panel over and over.
Oh, shots
Primus
fired
sucks.
this
We all know
early.
that.
Primus sucks.
Wow.
John and I joke about this. Of course, it's considered kind of cool to rip on Primus.
Oh yeah, the chant when you're at their show is Primus sucks.
Primus
so even
sucks,
their fan base knows. All right, we're gonna rip on you, but we love you still. All right. So today's topic, for the people who don't know, I'm going to talk about the rules, and I'll give all credit to NPR because that's where I originally heard this. I listen to NPR's music podcast every week. It's where I try to discover new music. And one of the podcasts they did when there was kind of no new music coming out, they had their people come on and say, what are some songs that you wish would be just taken away from ever being played in public again? So that means you're not going to walk into the grocery store and hear it. You're not going to hear the string quartet version on the new Netflix show. You're not going to hear this anywhere unless you own the album at your house. You know, you own the album, you own the CD, you paid for the MP3 generation that did that. If you did that, you can still listen to it. The song isn't being erased from existence. It's just not going to be played everywhere you go. So goodbye sad piano girl covers, goodbye, you know, just car commercials. Like, yes, you know, let's hear another song in a car commercial. We're eliminating that. We're picking songs for different reasons to get out of that existence. So you won't hear them again unless you dig out your record and put that on. So I guess that dates me because I have the giant vinyl collection. So that's
You still have it now?
I would keep it. I do. Yeah, I have over 1,000 records that I have. They're from my childhood, and then I kind of stopped when it became impossible to find a turntable. But I would still go if I went to shows. I'd always buy the band's vinyl album, even if I had no way to play it. And then eventually you could buy a turntable again. So I bought a nice turntable, and now every band's releasing vinyl because they're selling their vinyl better than CDs at this point in time.
Sure. It's getting a little bit like comic collecting.
It really is.
Yeah. It's for the niche audience, and that's kind of, it's still weird to me that it came back, but I guess there is a different sound of vinyl. The weirdest thing that came back is now cassette tapes are back, because that's the literal worst way to listen to
music. Yeah, they were never good to begin with.
Right?
I don't get the nostalgia for those. Like I
really like rewinding things, I guess. Like fast forward.
I like doing the pencil trick to fix those.
Vinyl, I get it has a different sound, but I never collected vinyl. I was never huge into it. I did have some Primus on vinyl. I'll send it to Tim after the show.
Please do. I have a quick comment about that. You know, I think the thing about vinyl collectors, and first of all, John's right. They do say that it sounds better on vinyl. I've heard that too. And the theory is that, I might have this a little wrong. Viewers, if I say this wrong, jack me up in the comments. But it's something to do with that when you produce it onto vinyl, you're getting an actual waveform, a sound wave, whereas a CD is a digital representation of the wave. So, like, if you listen to the vinyl, it's a little bit like being in the room listening to it.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that might not be the reason for collectors. My thought was maybe the thing that I like about the vinyl is they come with the art and the liner notes, and there's like I can remember, of course, I'm probably a little older than you guys, but I can remember buying albums the first time, and you would like look through and you'd read all the stuff and you'd read the lyrics and see who played the bass, and I mean I did all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
My collection's up to. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Our collection's up to about 500 now as far as vinyls go. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're again, kind of like you, mine's from a lot of still from my childhood. You know, I was a 70s dude, and so but yeah, I think you're right. It is the cover art. A lot of it is some of it's beautiful it's just like art, and you want to look at it and display it. So a lot of it that's for me as well.
I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff with like liquid in the vinyl and like,
the spatter.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they definitely they realize, oh wait, there is an audience and we can make it even cooler. So that is cool.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who like has an insane collection. So I live vicariously through him. I have no desire to have another collection of things.
I know that my wife loves that I have another collection, although the vinyl's kind of a shared one. So there's her records in there. There's stuff.
Great.
People look at they're like, you listen to that? I'm like, no, dude, I have a wife. So, it's not all mine. But yeah, I know that talking about that, they did one at Comic-Con this year that was the Dune soundtrack with sand in it. So it was this thick double vinyl. They basically glued two records together for side A and side B. And in the middle, they put sand. And then they did the same thing for the Willy Wonka movie, and they put nerds in the middle. So they were like $200. I wasn't going to buy them, but I just looked at them. I'm like, that is cool as hell. Way cool, too rich for me. But yeah, it was cool.
Do you mind if Dash, you mentioned being a 70s fan. Just real quick, what's your favorite 70s band?
Y'all probably laugh. I'm still an REO Speedwagon. I know they.
I love
went
REO
into-
Speedwagon, man. Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah,
Right.
they hold a lot of sentimental value to me.
Nice.
That was one of the first albums my dad bought for me.
Cool.
Was REO Speedwagon. So
Nice.
yeah,
Great choice. Great choice. Thanks for sharing that.
absolutely.
And see, I was born in the 70s, so I kind of have that 70s, 80s, and 90s, but I try to stay current where it's like I may not listen to what's going on in the mainstream right now, but I'm constantly looking for new stuff. So it's like if you look in my like list on Spotify, it looks like I'm out of my mind because it's like, all right, there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You can, go from REO Speedwagon to Nine Inch Nails to, this band Mr. Gnome that just came out a few years ago. So it's like, it's all over the map, but that's how I like it. Like if you're driving with me and we're just playing my like list, you're never going to know what's coming next. All right, so let's get to the eliminations. We have 3 categories for elimination. The first one, it's all subjective. We are going to eliminate a song because we just hate it. I don't want to ever hear it again because it's the worst. So that is category number 1. So what we'll do is we'll start with Timothy this time, and then in the next one, we'll start with Dash, and then we'll start with John, and I'll always go last. So hopefully we don't overlap on our hate, but I mean, shoot, I have a whole bag full of hated songs that I can pull out. So, so Timothy, what is yours? What are you getting rid of because it's the worst?
I'll tell you, there's one that gets on my nerves, and I'm probably going to get hate for this because I know it was a big smash hit. But part of my hate on this song is because of repeatedly hearing it because I have a daughter that was that age at the time, which is "Let It Go" by Idina Menzel. And I understand that it was a super popular song and people love it. I get all that. But man, for those of us out there, if you've ever had a daughter that was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you're going to hear that song 130 times a day. Yeah. Man, I tell you, not, in the car, in the basement, it was just on all the time. And now when it comes on, I can't wait to turn it off. And, of course I talk out of both sides of my mouth. I realize she's a terrific singer.
Amazing.
And I realize, and so we're doing this out of fun, right? I'm not disparaging her in some way, but just they played the tar out of that song.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like, oh my god, just please anything else other than that. So that is my pick to be.
There's your one, yeah. And I have a 14-year-old in the other room that will fight you right now for those.
Yeah, no doubt, and she would be furious with me if she.
But of course, I'm with you because I heard it, and when we went to Disneyland, she had to buy the vinyl picture disc so we could keep playing it over and over again, even in the living room. It's like, Dad, what should we play right now? Because when we cook dinner, we always put on an album. So it's like, what are we going to play? Yeah, you could play Frozen. I'm like, oh, yes, I should play Frozen.
Oh, yeah.
So, I feel you on that one.
I can neither confirm nor deny that there might be a video on my Facebook page with my girls singing Let It Go. Oh, yeah. Being forced to sing. Forced. I tell you, forced.
All right. So, John, what is your pick?
Well, not to like softball it, but I'm definitely one of those people. I love music. I definitely went through a phase, in high school. I was like, oh, rap music. Oh, this sucks. But as you get older, you just appreciate music. Music is maybe one of the only good things that humanity has given to the earth. So I love music. I do have a daughter who went through the Frozen phase, but didn't really ask to listen to that one. I love Disney songs. I could listen to them, over and over and over again. But when I was trying to think of the closest one where I could say I just don't like the song, don't want to hear it, a few popped into my mind, and one is much to the chagrin of my good friend Jason, is Wonderwall by Oasis.
Oh, sure.
And it might sound petty, but it's just because I just don't think it's very good, and people love the crap out of that song, and it's the most basic, whiny Englishman song. There's no reason that band should have been any bigger than any other, indie English band. It
just stayed on the Blur level or something.
Yeah, it just blows my. And then you talk about bands like that had skill and diversity. It's like so that would probably be the one I would eliminate just because I don't like it. Although again, I try not to be hateful in my old age.
See, you're nicer than me. I was like, all right, I'm going to destroy these songs, but like that. And Oasis is doing their big tour, so you won't be rushing to grab the tickets. We know.
No.
Yeah, if sales of the tickets go down, we will be able to blame John directly.
Yeah. John said that, and he changed a lot of people's minds. And now Oasis is going to be poor, and it's all your
I
fault.
was gonna go, man, but Westhoff was on that podcast.
No.
Bad
The Gallagher brothers are coming for you.
Oh, they probably are.
Yeah,
they
probably.
are. I mean, if they
At
heard
least
this,
one of
they'd be
them.
like, they'd be coming after you, and they'll put their hatred toward you instead of themselves.
Can I tag onto your question, John? What were you almost gonna say about rap music?
What I said was, when I was in high school, I'd be like, I'm a heavy metal guy. I don't like rap music. You go through that phase where you're like, my music is better than everyone's. And then again, you finally become an adult and you're like, oh yeah, there's value in it. There's a couple, all of us have our songs where we're like, ooh, that one's, but for the most part, I like music. I mean, I'll go listen to some guy, playing on a garbage can, in an alley. Like, I just love, live music and performing it.
Yeah.
But there's a few songs that kind of get under your skin.
Oh yeah, it has to happen.
I was curious. The reason I asked is John and I have a lot of similar influences. We've done a couple of shows together, and I was the same way. It does seem a little bit like if you fell into the metal camp, you didn't follow rap or hip hop at all. And it's I'm pretty knowledgeable about music and music trivia, but I couldn't. If you held a gun on me, I couldn't answer one rap question.
Yeah, see, I was very fortunate. I was in a band with friends. My brothers was also played drums. That's where I started playing drums on his kit. My younger brother plays guitar very well. All of us loved music, and my brother had older friends that would come by the house and jam with us, and we'd always be going out and playing hockey together and stuff. So I had like a wide age range of influences.
Yeah.
So I think that helped me. Otherwise, I probably would have only been like only metal and alternative music. But I had such a wide influence that, and again, my mom always took us, to Disney movies, and my buddies in high school would tease me because I knew all the words to the songs from Winnie the Pooh, but then I also listened to Cannibal Corpse, and it's like that's just the kind of person that I was molded to be. So I was lucky in that regard.
Yeah, that's good. It's better to know a little bit about all the stuff. And some people they're so pigeonholed. And what I find is I get people that they haven't listened to a new thing since high school. And everything else is, that new music's such garbage. And I'm like, here, let me give you 5 bands and prove you wrong. But they don't
absolutely,
it's
like, just
no. The best stuff ended in 1993 when we graduated, and that was
absolutely
the end of
did not. Everybody has their era for everything, music, movies, whatever. Comics is the same way. People will tell you, the comics today, and I'm like, you literally are not trying.
Yeah,
music
exactly.
and comics. There's something mind blowing coming out every week of the year in both of these mediums. You're just not you're not trying at all.
You're not looking anymore, and that's okay. I mean,
and it's easier than ever to find it. People are just like, so like Metallica is the only, they peaked it this year and I can only listen to that. It's like, oh, there are so much great music in comics that come
John
I just feel bad for them. They're missing all the good stuff.
Absolutely.
John has a good point there. I think there's a little bit of the digital age that is both a blessing and a curse. Here's what I mean by that. The blessing is that if you have a band or you're making a comic, whatever your creative passion is, it's, I don't want to say easy. Easy isn't the right word, but there are less barriers to you making your dream project. The barrier to entry is lower. How about that?
More availability.
The more availability. So that's the blessing. But the curse is the market is flooded with products that are not quite maybe the quality which we might have hoped for. In the days of, I'll use music for the example because that's what our topic is. Like in the old days, you used to have a record contract. I don't know if you guys remember that, but you had to be signed to put your album out. It seems quaint now. Mm-hmm. You could put it on your YouTube channel, your Spotify, your Bandcamp, and if you get 100,000 listens, guess what, man? You're a professional.
Yeah, and you're selling out a tour with that.
Right. But I can remember the first band that I was in, or actually it was the second, and we used to make little promo kits. John probably remembers this, and it would have photos of you all standing against a brick wall and maybe a little bit of a humorous promo statement, and you would mail these little cassettes out to record companies like Capitol and Arista was still around back then, and Columbia. But it's none of those companies exist anymore. Like that path is not even there.
Yeah, the Napster era killed the record industry as we know it, but there was a time when it was, go out, get that $1 million signing. And yeah, I read a book, it's called Sellout, and it talks about all the punk and hardcore bands that they were trying to sign during that era. Like it was post Nirvana, so they wanted everything. All right, we're going to find the next Nirvana. It became the quest, and it kind of tells the journey of these bands starting with Green Day, who exploded on the scene, and then other bands that kind of fizzled out, and just how this signing to the major label changed them for good or bad. Like some of the bands imploded because of those signings. So it's really good. And it's kind of that last era of the record labels just throwing money around like it was candy.
And you mentioned that book before. I gotta.
Yeah, I want to check that out too.
Yeah, it's a
Do
really
you guys
good-
like the? I'm sure Edward does, but it has the behind the music type specials where they're
Oh, yeah.
documentaries. We were John and I were talking about this actually. I'm a huge fan of these rock documentaries,
Mhm.
and there was one about. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Warrant. Do you remember an '80s hair band called Warrant?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Cherry pie.
Cherry Pie. Yeah, good memory. And there's a great story by that guy. I want to say was that Janie Lane, the singer?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Again,
Yeah.
viewers, if I got it wrong, let me know. But anyway, the
Yeah.
singer, he would talk about he would go into the record company every month and he would pick up his paycheck. Like in those days, you got your royalties in the form of a check. Viewers, a check was a piece of paper. When you got paid at the end of the month, it would be printed and you would take it to a place called a bank, and that's how you got your pay. And he went in there, and every month they were the big act, right? And there was a huge poster behind the receptionist that said Warrant Cherry Pie, and it was like a kind of like a sexy lady, and she was kind of like suggestively holding a piece of pie.
Yeah.
And he would go in every month, and man, I'm the big rock star, and get my check. And he said, I'll never forget it. I walked in one day, and I looked up at the poster, and I looked at the receptionist, and I said, "Who's Alice in Chains?" And what he saw was the shift from the hair
the
bands to
change
the
in,
grunge.
yeah, that when the hair bands got killed.
It happened
Yeah.
quick.
It did.
Well, we cut off. We didn't hear your pick yet.
All right, so Dash, and I have mine, and Dash has his. So Dash, what is your song you're eliminating?
Well, since we're talking about hair bands, and this is dedicated. My wife is from New Jersey, so you might know where this is going here, real quick. Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi. Okay, listen, nothing against Bon Jovi. I love him. He's a great artist, and kind of like we've all said, you know, I will never disparage anybody from making music and going out there and doing what they love. But I'm a football dad. My son plays football, and I feel like besides my wife being from New Jersey, listening to this song all the time, and going to football games, and every cheerleading having Living on the Prayer, it gets. And then you know, and now we're at the age of streaming. So if we can't make a certain game, the streaming service will put up, YouTube will put up the games, and they'll have music going on, and there's Living on a Prayer, and it's just over and over, and I'm just like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I don't
forever in your mind. Yeah,
I cannot
can see
argue that point, but you are banned from all Midwest bars for the rest of your life. That is the white people in bars song.
Yes,
right after Sweet Caroline.
Oh yeah.
That was very close. I sing that at karaoke, so I can't put Sweet Caroline on there, but that one was very close.
Yeah. For me, I could eliminate his entire catalog, but I'll just choose one song, and that would be Margaritaville from Jimmy Buffett. Because when I grew up, my dad and stepmom, they didn't agree on music. The only two artists they agreed on were Jimmy Buffett and Neil Diamond. So that's all they ever played. And it got to the point where if I hear either one of them, so Sweet Caroline could have easily made the cut too, but I think I can look at it and say, all right, when I put it into perspective, I can see that Neil Diamond is talented. I don't get what people like about Jimmy Buffett. I despise him. I despise his music. Yacht rock. It can sink the yacht. That's what I say. I don't want to hear any of it.
You get no arguments there. Jimmy Buffett, I think he knew what he was doing. He targeted a certain group, and he did well for himself. But there's not a lot of meat on that bone.
What do I know? Because look at him. He was, rich and has his own cruise line. I've heard it's a dismal experience to go on the Jimmy Buffett cruise, but there's no cruise with my name on it. So what am I saying?
The immortal era cruise coming soon.
There you go.
Chop each other up.
That'll be an empty cruise. I mean, maybe my wife will go out of pity, but that's about it.
Nice.
All right, so let's switch. So some of us were nicer in our hate, and I'm not. I despise him. So now we're eliminating it, not because we hate it. It's just been so overplayed. You've heard it 8 million times in your life, and you're just like, you know what? It's cool. We can let that one go. Let it go can be let go. We've already got that because Timothy and I both had that daughter at the right age where that that was her life, and she had 8 Frozen dresses that she ran around in. So yes, I know that one. And yeah, Halloween's like, Dad, they did another short of Frozen. I need the new dress that she wore for her birthday party. I'm like, what can we do? So now, Dash, you're going to start us off. What are you eliminating because of being just overplayed?
I'm getting ready to upset about 1 billion fans here.
Do it.
I'm getting ready to upset Kansas City Chiefs fans. I'm getting ready to upset the Swifties.
Yes.
Now, nothing wrong with Taylor Swift, but Shake It Off.
That's my favorite Taylor Swift song.
It's my girl. Apparently, it's my girls right now as well. They're 7 and 6.
Oh,
and apparently that's their favorite one too. Nothing wrong. I tease a lot because I have a lot of good friends that love Taylor Swift. So it's a fun thing that we do. But some of her other music is better, and some of it's not. But yeah, Shake It Off. It's overplayed. It doesn't need to go away. It doesn't need to be. It just sometimes needs to take a 10-year break or something.
Give it
like
a break.
That. Yeah.
Let the whatever new version of TikTok comes out in 10 years, let that generation discover it.
Yes. So yeah, I can't, she's she's a smart businesswoman. I probably need to take some tips from her when it comes to that being a business person, but Shake It Off needs to be set aside for a few years.
There you go. So the overplayed Shake It Off. I can't disagree. I mean, that song is everywhere, and that's one you walk in the grocery store, there it is. There you walk in to an elevator, they got a nice string quartet version of it. So it exists everywhere. And I mean, none of my kids got into Taylor Swift, so I guess I'm not as tired of her, but I'm with you on that. So all right, John, what's yours? What's your overplayed song that we need to kind of give a break?
Well, I'll be honest. I first thought you meant the 3 categories was to eliminate one song. They all had to meet that criteria. So I'm going a little bit off the cuff, thinking I only had to bring one song. But for me, I would rather not, because it's synonymous with every mainstream action movie, with every cartoon now, where there's a moment where something bizarre is happening or whatever, and that's Crazy Train by Ozzy.
Oh, good pick.
That is a great pick.
Yeah.
I like the song. I love Randy Rhoads. I have mixed feelings about Ozzy's career in general as after Sabbath, but for that, I like the song. You're right. I'm a metalhead, so you think, oh, when I hear it in Trolls 2, I'm going to be like, hell yeah, there it is. But then I see it in the next movie and the next commercial and the next, and I'm like, you know what? We gone a little too far with Crazy Train. So
so here we go. We have our first comment. Living on a Prayer is overplayed. So Let It Go, eliminate. Sweet Caroline is a keeper. All right, so they're saying we're gonna keep Sweet Caroline. Now, like I said, that just comes from my childhood. Eliminating Sweet Caroline. It was hearing it every night, and they'd play that until the wee hours of the morning when I got school the next day, and I'm listening to Jimmy Buffett, followed by Neil Diamond, and my dad had the CD changers. Go back in the time when you could put 10 CDs in there at once, and we're listening to the friggin' B-sides of Jimmy Buffett, and trust me, I did it so you don't have to.
That's great.
All right, so let's see. And then he says another song is Party in the USA. Yeah, I would have to agree with that one.
Yeah, not the best one.
All right. So sorry, John. And then I guess you're going to have to come up with one more later on. That's our saving it from the TikTok generation. All right. So wait, we were on overplayed. All right, Timothy, what's your overplayed song we got to get rid of?
First, a quick comment. You guys had some great picks there, and that took a lot of bravery, not only to alienate the Swifties.
Yeah, I know, right?
Call. Yeah, so good on you. But I do agree. And John, man, with the ringer, I didn't see that one coming, but now that you say it, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
And I was nervous to say mine, because mine's going to alienate some people too. And friendly reminder, this is for fun, guys. We love music. But I wanted to pick something that was genuinely overplayed and kind of like a cliche. And for anybody that's played in bands, you're going to hear this shouted at you at least 3 or 4 times in a night. And mine is Freebird.
Yeah.
And, a quick thing, I even kind of like the song. And if you've heard the alternate version, it's on YouTube. There's an alternate, what they call the demo version, that has a little more piano. It's really very beautiful.
Mhm.
But the thing is, it's become like such a self-parody that it's almost. I'm not sure if there is a more overplayed parody than Freebird.
And I'm surprised
Yeah.
that didn't come to mind, but you're 100% right. That's the number one. It's become a meme. It was the first meme, music meme, and now
Yeah.
it's Freebird,
Right.
and now it's Slayer.
Right, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
other
Man,
one.
but
The-
that
you know,
is
the
funny.
thing about Leonard Skinner too, I just want to quick throw out there, terrific musicians, right, John? And to me, they've got dozens of great songs that are better than Freebird.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But again,
sure.
as Ed said, what do I know? That's why there's no Tim Fling Cruise Line.
Yeah. All right. And then our next one. Oh, we built this city.
Jefferson
Hey, what's up,
Starship.
Brad?
I think
So
that was the
Brad-
worst song of the 80s on a VH1 thing, and I was like, oh, poor Jefferson Starship.
Oh, I do hate that song.
It's
I think I have to agree.
It's
But-
got, it makes you dance.
Yeah, I don't know. I there's so many 80s songs that just, the MTV overplayed in such a way that, I don't ever need to hear them again. And we built the city. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, that's a
All
good
right.
one.
And then mine comes to, I grew up in the high desert in California. And in the high desert, we had one station, and it was kind of a generic classic rock station. And the song that they played ad nauseum was Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
And it was just played and played and played. And I got so sick of it. And kind of like you were saying with Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin has a lot better songs.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just because that particular station, you would hear it at least
They have
3
so
times a
many better
day.
songs, Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And
it
it's
was
such a weird
just,
thing too, right? Like I probably have songs that I've listened to 100 times more than I've listened to Stairway to Heaven, even having heard Stairway to Heaven everywhere out in the world, and yet I'm not sick of them. But then like that, I agree 100%. Like Stairway, I don't need to listen to it. I've heard it enough times. It's a good song. They're a great band, great musician, legendary. But I'm going to skip to one of their other tracks, and that's so weird because again, I probably have songs on my Spotify right now that I've listened to 1,000 times this year.
yeah. I
And
can
I'm
think
not
like,
sick of
I have songs like Paranoid Android by Radiohead. I can play that song over and over again. I don't get tired of it. And Stairway to Heaven, I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's what was always in the car, because
No Stairway.
we had one radio station. That was it. So it was okay. You're going to hear that, and you can, fill in the blanks with some other, overplayed rock songs. But that one would always seem like every time we get in the car, it would start, and that would be our full drive. Like, all right, here's Stairway to Heaven. Now we're parking, and then you get back in, like, wait, how's it on again?
Well, yeah, it's like a 15-minute song or something.
Yeah, it's like it keeps playing. So
I was John. I got to tell you, Ed. I got to tell you, if somebody had taken Freebird, my backup was Stairway to Heaven.
okay.
I thought that's what you were going to say too when you said Freebird. I don't know why I didn't think of Freebird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
There's a reason why-
I would even throw it out there. The thing about Stairway to Heaven, the intro is great. The rest of it's not that great.
yeah.
It's like the
I mean, there's a
initial
reason
guitar
Wayne.
riff, right?
Yeah, there's a reason Wayne's World said don't play Stairway in the.
No Stairway Denied. I just put it in the chat. That's
Yeah,
where
it
it
was
ended.
considered
Stairway's not
overplayed
allowed to be
30
played
years ago.
after Mike Myers makes a joke about you.
Hi, Janice. Thanks for coming in. All right, so
Martina.
Timothy. All right,
Best colorist in the world.
awesome. All right, and we got one more. All right, so Stairway Denied. All right, so I cannot take Stairway out, and you get a chance for a save. We can save one song in the end. Each one of us get a chance for a save. At this point, everything I've heard, I'm saving nothing. All right, let them go. But let's see. Our last eliminating, we are trying to save this song from future generations. We don't want it to get commandeered by TikTok and Sad Piano Girls. We want to
Sad
spare this
Piano.
song from the string quartets playing it on Bridgerton. We don't want that to happen. So we're saving it for its own good. So this isn't a song we dislike. We're here to save it, to give it a life where it deserves to be, in our living rooms and not, everywhere else. So we're saving this song from future generations. So John, you can go first this time. What are you saving from future generations?
All right, you can tell me if this is cheating, but I have a reverence for this band and particularly their frontman so much that I just don't want, like you said, as soon as you said "Sad Piano Girls," I do not want the reprised version of any of their songs played slowly at the end of an action movie or whatever the hell we do to massacre, old songs. But it's really the library of the Talking Heads. I love David Byrne. I love the Talking Heads so much. I'm just gonna pick their whole library. Stay away from it. Let their stuff sit. You don't need to Hollywood it up or it doesn't need to be a country version of some guy who doesn't have his own songs. I don't need to hear it. Leave them be.
Save the Talking Heads. I'm with you on that. I just listened to this long 5-hour podcast about the whole history of the Talking Heads. So I'm on a Talking Heads kick right now, and I'm with you. It's like, all right, we don't need them to get changed. And if David Byrne made a movie and he had other people singing all of the Talking Heads songs, and that movie alone tells you don't ever do that again. John Goodman sings one of their songs, and it's as bad as you would imagine. And we don't need any more of that. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. And then Janice, I agree. Hotel California was one of my alternate picks. I had several to pick from, and Hotel California was one of my it's been overplayed. I don't love the Eagles, but that particular song, I only liked it when I was a kid because I thought they were talking like the hotel of The Shining. So it was this haunted, evil hotel. And when I found out it was all drug stuff, I'm like, damn it, you ruined a good song. It was a good horror movie. I thought Hotel California.
It's got a vibe to it if you listen to it.
I took it that way too, Ed.
Yeah, so I always interpreted it as as dark and evil. And yes, Talking Heads, I agree. Leave Them Alone. And then someday
when we're done, send me that link to that documentary you watched. When we're done with the
yeah, me too.
Oh, it's actually a podcast on Spotify, so I'll send you that. It's audio, but I listen to podcasts when I'm running.
That's perfect.
So yeah, that's something I enjoy doing, and I find these long form ones. It's this show called Bandsplain, and she digs deep into all these different bands and kind of gives you their full history and talks about their albums and everything. And you'll know more about every band. So it's like, well, the song will come on and I'll start spouting facts to my wife. So I'm sure she's about tired of me knowing too much about every band. All right. So Timothy, who are you saving from future generations?
I wanted to make sure I understood it correctly, because really in this case, it's material that we like, but we're trying to protect it from ending up as a State Farm commercial. Yes,
exactly. Yeah, we don't need it on the commercials or any of that stuff.
Okay, I actually had two prepared because I was pretty sure John was going to say the first one. And now he dropped a ringer on me with Talking Heads. I didn't see that coming. So I'm going to throw my first suggestion out there is Black Sabbath. I don't want to see Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath in an ad for a hair loss commercial, right? Now, in case that was too predictable, I was also ready to go with Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
So save them both. All right. Nice.
I say that without any irony, because a lot of the material that you never would have thought would become this sort of corporate shill rock, for lack of a better phrase, we're starting to see it crop up. And of course, that's got more to do with the generation, I think, than the type of music, right? What you got is people that are listening to that music are now in their 40s and 50s, and they will gravitate toward things they recognize. But, look, I get it. I wish I had a song that was popular enough to have somebody want to make it into a State Farm commercial. So when I say, well, they sold out, you got to take it in the spirit that it's meant, that, I'm jealous that I never was able to really sell out. And my thing is, if it reaches more viewers, that's a good thing. But I stand by my assessment that the certain works would be devalued by ending up as a commercial. And one quick example, do you remember, it was kind of controversial at the time when Revolution the Beatles was made Nike into a Nike commercial. And I think all of us kind of went, wait, what? And again, I understand why, I want people to make money. I'm a capitalist, you understand? But I guess the question is, does it devalue the material? And I think it does.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. That's why I picked this category. It's like, okay, it's just,
that's a good question, Ed.
It devalues it, but that doesn't mean we don't love it. We're saving it because we love it. So that's, you know, the first category was the opposite of that. Like, all right, I just despise this thing, let it die. This one is, no, I love it. Let's spare its life. All right, so Dash, what is your song that you're saving from the future generations?
All right, this is the greatest cover song. Simon and Garfunkel did it first.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is the greatest cover song ever made after, and that's the Sound of Silence by Disturbed. I don't.
Okay.
Yes. I don't want to see people on TikTok using it. I don't want to see it in a Wegovy commercial. You know, it's in its purest form. That is one of the greatest remakes. He brings so much emotion to the song, and to me, that I don't want to, like you were talking about, I don't want to, you know, associate it with State Farm or associate it with
State Farm.
Yeah, just you're getting beat up today, Jake. But no, it just, to me, it brings a lot of feeling and emotion, and I you know, I feel like that to me is what makes that the greatest song, and I don't want to see it used for something.
We don't need it bastardized out there for fill in the blank commercial. It doesn't matter, you know. We're bullying State Farm, but somehow they'll survive.
If they're watching, I'm probably getting dropped later this afternoon.
Yeah,
so.
like we've been looking at your policy, and we noticed the discrepancy. And sorry,
that's a great example. It's a great example too, by the way, of a song that was remade just enough to make it accessible to modern people, and it wasn't like a. I don't always love when the cover's exactly like what the first person did, because it's like, well, you didn't bring anything.
That's boring. At that point.
Yeah, it's boring.
It's like you got to bring something new to it, and I think. Like when you say that one, I think of when Johnny Cash did Hurt. And, you know, as someone who listened to Nine Inch Nails through high school and everything, it's like, how dare he? And then you listen to like, ooh, damn.
It was good. Yeah.
Never mind.
Reznor said it's his song now.
Yeah. It's like, I retract that statement because, even Trent Reznor's like, it's no longer mine. Johnny Cash owns that song. And you listen to it, you're like, all right, you really can't argue with that. So it's one that in theory seems like a complete disaster, and yet it works. And kind of like Disturbed, you're like, okay, how's Disturbed going to bring something new to Simon and Garfunkel? And yet there we are. We listen to like, okay, never mind. So it's like, let's spare it from going beyond that. Because now Johnny Cash has done it. And it's like, okay, who else is going to do that sad country version? Like, I just keep going back to the Sad Girl Piano, because it seems like every trailer is Sad Girl Piano versions of songs. So that comes to mind. And mine is Smells Like Teen Spirit.
That's the one that came to mind from Black Widow, right? Black Widow, right?
And I'm just like, no more. Leave it alone. I mean, we already had it in the Batman soundtrack. They did Something in the Way, and they just kind of like, they're going to keep doing these Sad Girl Piano versions and let it go away. Let it live at the way it was, because, you know, it was such a huge and influential song. I mean, it changed music as we think of it. And I hate to think of it just being just watered down more and more and more, to the point where now the people of our generation, you know, we're shaking our canes, get off our lawn. But I just feel like that song I want to protect. I mean, I'd love to protect whole catalogs of bands, but, you know, I'm limited to one song. So I'm going to try to save Smells Like Teen Spirit, because the Here We Are Now Entertain Us is going to be murdered a million more times, you know, in our generation.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do about that. That one's not. I don't think that one's making it through.
It's a good pick, Ed.
That's a very good pick.
All right, so let's see if we have any more comments. So here it is. Comments out there, people that are watching. What are your songs? You know our 3 categories. So what's your hated song? What is your overplayed song? What is your let's save it from future generation song? Throw those comments out there, because I really want to know what you think we should be saving, and, you know, what's out there. So at this point, we have one more opportunity, and that is, are you going to save any of the songs that we just eliminated? Now, bearing in mind kind of the last category, that's no contempt in that category. So what's the song that you're like, all right, you were wrong. How dare you, sir? We need to bring this one back into public play. So,
Is there, yes, am I first?
any of us, yeah,
I-
or
I would
anybody
say,
in the audience.
I'm
What
going to
are you
go
gonna
kind of
say?
with John's initial thought, which I think the ones that we gave the axe to, there were some good ones. They deserved what they got. Maybe, I'd say I'm on the fence about Living on a Prayer, I guess.
Huh?
I'll surprise you all, and I'll say Shake It Off. It's off the
Oh,
list.
you're bringing
Oh,
Shake It Off back.
wow.
Because
No,
I think it's one of her best songs. It's got a good beat. It's fun. It's playful. I think it's my favorite one. My daughter jokes with me all the time. She made me a wristband, although she put the words out of order and it says "shake off it," so that's even funnier.
Yeah.
So I got to save that one.
All
Very
right, so
good.
you're saving Shake It Off. I'm saving nothing. They all deserve what they got. Their fate is
Regardless.
earned because all the songs, because I think like as someone who listened to a lot of 80s, Living on a Prayer was pretty much nonstop for a little while. So I'm with you on that one.
Wow.
Although, I mean, I don't know if it's like a lot of these songs, if it was a CD, because I mostly play vinyl, and skipping a song in vinyl is more effort than it's worth. You're going to spend more time than the song's length to try to go past it.
Sure.
So I'm like, just let the damn thing play. Although with Stairway to Heaven, I think it's worth it because, like you say, that's so long. Like, all right, I'm going to battle through and try to hit that mark just right. So yes, kids out there, yes, skipping vinyl is not so easy. It's not just not a shuffle button. You have to lift it and drop it just right.
Hey, vinyl album trivia question. You know how many grooves are on a vinyl LP?
How many?
32.
One. It's one continuous groove.
It's one continuous one.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
all
that
right,
makes
so
sense.
Isn't that interesting? I thought that
it
was
wouldn't work, right? Yeah.
Janice says the axes are good.
All right, axe them all. Let me ask you a
Let's
question.
see.
Oh,
All right,
safety dance.
Safety dance.
Safety
that
dance.
We can dance if we want to.
Yeah. Someone's using that right now, I think.
I don't think anybody's covering Safety Dance. I think that one.
No, we'll hear the original, but I can't imagine a cover. I mean, if you go to a concert and a band busts that out as their cover song, you're just gonna wonder what they're thinking. I mean, good for them. You're gonna do one that no one's ever covered before. All right. Let's see. We got. All right. So yeah, with the other category. So yeah. So people are saying what we've cut is warranted and it deserves its fate. And yeah, we're saving. So only Shake It Off has been saved. I think the rest of us are like, you know what? Let them die. Let them be saved. So it's like the Talking Heads catalog doesn't need the covers. And I just imagine all of these things happening because, yeah, it's just like the TikTok generation lip syncing songs, and that becomes the thing. And that's how I remember I was in my class, kind of going back to your song, and I handed a paperback to one of my students, and it had a low grade on it, and she starts singing "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend." I was like, "How the heck do you know that song?" And she's like, "TikTok." So I was like, "All right, first off, well played." And damn, I didn't know your generation knew that song
cool,
at all.
man.
But it was kind of funny. And I remember there was a stretch of time when all the kids knew the good songs, because I've been teaching for 25 years now. So I've kind of seen the waves come in. And when Guitar Hero was out, it was like all of a sudden kids knew a lot of good music.
Right.
And they're walking in and they're singing a Nirvana song and they're singing a Metallica song. Like, wow, how do you know that? They're like, oh, it's Guitar Hero. It's like, all right, well, Guitar Hero kind of boosted the knowledge of songs for a minute. Yeah. So that wasn't so bad. And I guess that's played in your home. So it fits our category. So if Guitar Hero came back out, it's not violating the rule because you own it. You're playing it in your home. We're just not playing it. We're not going to hear it on the movies, the movie trailers and the State Farm commercials, because let's keep attacking State Farm. That's the goal of the day. We want State Farm and the Swifties to come after us. John, you have saved yourself in the eye of the Swifties.
Yeah, you have saved yourself.
I think that might have been systematic, and you did it for a good reason. Like I know my Twitter's going to be blowing up right now, and I don't need the Swifties coming in with their anger. Let them kill the other three. I'm safe. Like I'm with you, Swifties. Shake off it.
There's no such thing as bad publicity, man.
Right?
Just publicity.
All right. So now,
that's awesome.
Let's see. Anyone wants to add to our songs? comment away. We're going to be talking about campaigns and links, where to find all of my guests that are here today. So keep commenting. We want to hear what you have to say. What should we eliminate? Are we out of our minds? Should we have left some songs alone? So
We're
let's see.
definitely out of our minds, and I apologize. I'm out of time. I have to drive my son to an activity, so thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank you, John.
I'm
Thanks for
sorry to
coming
cut out on you early.
No
Hey,
worries.
it's good to see you, John.
Appreciate
Great
you
to
being
meet you
here.
guys.
We will share your campaign
Thank you.
and let people know where to find it. I'll put it in the comments so that they know where to find you. I'm going to add that to the comments right now. And
Appreciate
this is
y'all.
for your Indie Comic Expo. So check out his Indie Comic Expo. It's going to be in the comments of the link. And John, thank you for being on. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us and killing some songs and saving some songs. And the
Thanks for having
Swifties
me.
shall forgive you.
Take it easy, guys.
See you, buddy.
All right, so I'm trying to paste his link, and then we'll share any links that you guys have that you would like to put out there. So this is the link to John's Indie Comic Expo, and that is something that you can see it right here. You can buy tickets through him, and you get a little bit better. So let me share his page so we can see it, and then I'll share the other pages one at a time. I'm still very new to the podcast game, so my sharing is clunky. I apologize. And my vision is also rather crap, so I'm like
I have it.
squinty
I have
guy.
the screen up if you guys want to see it. I can.
Yeah,
it's
if you want to
useful,
share
I
it.
can-
You are newer to this, so
It's gonna. You might see. There you go.
all right.
That's the Indie Comics Expo.
So that is Indie Comics Expo. It's nearly funded. It needs a little bit of a push to get to that goal. And with this one, you get a chance to buy, I think these are for more like VIP level tickets. And you can buy them on, I believe it's TicketWeb as well. But right now, we need to get his campaign funded, get those last few $100s. If you're planning on going to the Indie Comic Expo anyway, get your tickets through John, get those VIP style tickets.
That sounds like a great idea. I'd love to try something like that. Unfortunately, I'm not too local to the area, but I wish them every success.
Yeah, same for me. I'm not local to the area, so it's not something that I can do, but I love the idea. I love that he's kind of bringing in a more VIP experience. All right, so Grant says, all right, so he didn't know we were doing a show today. Grant, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, we are here. I won't be here in 2 weeks. That's the only one I won't be on. But if Grant, if you ever want to join us, be happy to have you on here. Every week it's new topics. I try to keep it interesting and not always comic related, as with today, where we had no comic talk at all. Although comics always creep their way into this show, and we talked about comics through the eyes of music and collectors and things like that. So you can never get rid of the comic in our Saturday morning comic talk. But yeah, this was our music-based one. And in a few weeks, I have new topics, and I always have room for 4 guests. So Grant, love to have you on. Send me a message and we will get you on one of our future shows. Although I'm learning, as because every time you have a campaign or something going, you're always out there asking for people like, hey, can I get on your show? And you tell them they tell you that they're full, and you're like, oh man. And now you realize, man, I'm full all the way to the middle of October. So now I understand. Yeah, you fill up fast, and you don't realize it until you're actually doing one of your own, that it moves very quickly, and people want to get on and they want to talk. And it's great because I get a good variety of guests and throw weird topics at them every week. So yeah, that's kind of the fun thing. So if you're tuning in every Saturday, my goal is to never repeat a topic. I'm driving myself crazy to meet that goal, because like, what the heck am I going to talk about now that I've already done, 15 topics? What's next? But hey, that's good. We're creators. We got to think on our feet.
Absolutely.
All right.
I think you're onto something, Ed. This is a great idea, and it's been terrific fun. It's, one of the things that I learned, and I say this, first of all, I'll admit that I was doing it wrong. Doing a weekly podcast, and we tend to focus on creator topics, and it's like, hey, we can learn how to do this, we can learn how to do shipping, we can learn marketing, and you meet all these smart people, and it's really a fun time. But the problem with it is we're not reaching customers. We are advertising to potentially the smallest group, which is
The
other
other
comic
creators.
Yeah. And like I say, I was guilty of that too. That's why when I saw this one, I was like, music. Oh man, Ed's getting this is genius. I couldn't wait to jump in.
Awesome. Well,
This is how
thank
you build
I
this is how you build your audience, your people that don't know what you're about. They come in,
Right.
You know, it's kind of why I started my YouTube, to build my audience to help build me as well.
Yeah.
So my book, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's the fun thing, because yours, you have your action figures and everything. And I definitely got to join you for action figure talk, because I have a giant collection. If you look kind of above the bookshelf is all my zombies. So I have lots of cool collectibles, and I'm like you, I have so many, I got to start rotating them. And it's fun. So I love joining shows, and my goal is just to make it always different and not always, pretty much not focus on the comic stuff till the end. At the end, we do our campaign corner. Right. People can share their campaigns. They can talk about them, because that we need to. If we have a campaign that we're trying to get people on, what is she? I had a great debate that I did on my Facebook about Twizzlers and Red Vines, and I had there was true anger going on, because I was Team Twizzler, and it was like, yes, you know what, Janice, there you go. I will bring the Twizzler Red Vine topic back to this show in one of my weeks. I think I have the next 3 weeks of topics all set up, but Twizzler Red Vines, I'll bring it back just so people can get really pissed at me. But hey, you know what? Get angry. Tell us we're wrong. That's what we want to hear. Tell us we're right. We like to hear that too. But in the end, just talk. Tell us what's going on. I love that we've had some good interaction today. And if you are a creator and you want to be on this show, come and join me. Just know that we're not here to just talk creation. There's a lot of great shows that do that. Timothy's is a great show, and you can get some amazing tips from that. We will talk, since I'm going to be doing a con in 2 weeks. Next week, we will have a little bit of con talk as one of our topics. But for this week, let's see. Timothy, what would you like to share? I know if you know how to share the screen, that would be easier.
Yeah,
share
absolutely.
What you would like to share with us, where we
can a couple of things. First, thanks
you.
So much for the opportunity, right? Which the first thing I should mention, and maybe you guys hadn't heard about this yet. Now, once a month, we do the UFO podcast. It's the first Friday of every month. We just did the first one last night, and both consider this an open invitation. If you want to come on the air, and what we do is and it's creators. It's similar to your format here, Ed. And what we do is we go around the room and we try to determine if things were a hoax or not. Like last night was the Betty and Barney Hill abduction. And the conclusion that we reached was this was not a hoax. And we get some really great answers. And it's been a terrific time. That's the first Friday night of every month at 10 p.m. EST. And then we do 3 weeks of Creative Cranium, which is creator tips.
Nice.
But what I've
been on that show. It's always a good time.
Yeah, we get some really good people, right? I'm always surprised by the level of, pretty good guests that we get on that show. So in my case, what I'm trying to promote here today, I think I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm trying a couple of new things, which is the main thing is to try to move operations over to YouTube, right? Which will be the kind of shows that we were talking about. And also we release our music over there. And for me, get much better engagement there than on Facebook. And the second one would be the Substack.
All right, so I'm putting your YouTube in the chat in there right now, and then let's see, where's the Substack up here? So go ahead and tell us about your Substack while I get that link.
The Substack, the best thing is, Substack is, for people that maybe aren't too familiar, it's a creative writing platform, and one of the things that I'm trying to do as we move, especially into 2025, is to diversify my lineup, and I got a reasonable amount of books and titles out. I think it's 11 now, 12, something like that. But what I want to do, and what I've having a moderate amount of success with, I do memoirs. That's the singularities column. I do Holden's 11, which is a top 11 list. For example, this week we did top 11 bass guitarists, top 11 twist endings in movies. And there are things where you can chime in and sort of argue and say what you thought about it. And then the third thing, of course, is UFOs, a visual history. Nice. And it's a UFO analysis column. in which we use peer-reviewed science to prove and or disprove the most compelling sightings in history. And what I mean by that is we use various books and resource materials. Like we try not to say, well, I think this, it's, well, I think this because, and you try and use a couple of facts to back up your position. And then when we get to the end of the episode, we reach a consensus, So far, we haven't had anybody tie, like I keep thinking, what if we had 2 that said it was a hoax and 2 that didn't? And then, of course, the findings of the podcast go into the book, which that's going to be released next
Very
week.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And
Thanks. I'm trying some other things besides comics. And I have, as you guys know, I love comics. It's my favorite thing. But my concern was, and first let me tell you, and like Dash, I'm not too familiar with his work. I'll definitely check that out. But I'm a fan of Edward's work, and I think it's pretty well written. But I've noticed a trend where a lot of the modern comics that are coming from Kickstarter, I want to say this in a way that's doesn't sound elitist or gatekeeping. It's great that the barrier's lower and that it's easy to make your comics and to get them released. But what you have there is a lot of comics that are really not too good. I mean, some of the ones that I've got, you almost really can't even read through them. And it isn't because somebody's bad or anything like that. It's because they haven't had an editor, or maybe it's their first time. All the regular stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I started to think to myself, like, geez, I wonder if it's like, to say if I'm in indie comics, I almost wonder if it's bad for the brand. Because in my case, I'm trying to make my bones as a writer and a songwriter. Mm-hmm. So I'm very sensitive about what types of things to be affiliated with or not be affiliated with.
Yeah.
Like, as Edward knows, man, Corruptor, Immortal Era, man, I jump at the chance to be paired up with stuff like that. It's well written, it's sci-fi, it goes along with my brand. But there's a couple of others. And again, like I'm saying, it isn't something where hey, congratulations. You got a troll, by the way. Welcome, S. It's good to see you on the show.
Hello, S.
Yeah, by the way, that's one of the steps to success, as you probably know. Yeah. Developing YouTube haters.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so
5 viewers, it's 4 more than I started with, so I'm calling it a victory.
Well, hey, and that doesn't include, it's going out on 6 other platforms, right?
Yeah, so it's you know what? Bring it.
Yeah, good for you, brother. Congratulations, Ed. I appreciate what you're doing, and I'll say that I think your concept's very solid. I'll always come on this show. So just to wrap up what I was saying is that, in my case, I'm trying new things, and they're going to be focused on elements of creative writing. For example, today it's a column about songwriting tips. And it talks about how if you can sit down and hum a couple of bars of a tune, you can write a song. Some people call that the Ozzy Osbourne method. Do you guys know how Ozzy Osbourne writes a song?
No.
Okay. He doesn't play an instrument. And he doesn't read music. He sits down in a room across from the guitar player and he hums, right? Something like that. And then he writes lyrics to it. And he's done that for 40 years. And he became Ozzy Osbourne by doing it that way. So that kind of shows you that songwriting is actually very accessible, meaning that just about anybody can do it. So one of the things that I'm trying to develop in this column is to encourage people to try and write songs if they're interested in music, and to show you that it's something you can do, much the way that if you were a golfer, you're going to go out on the green the first couple of times, man, you're going to be hitting it into the trees. And then you're going to see people come over and say, hey, well, would you try gripping it like this and bend at the waist? They'll kind of coach you, right?
Yeah.
Once you learn a couple tips, you're going to go, hey, I can kind of do this. And songwriting is much the same way.
Yeah.
So that said, if anybody ever wants to, as you know, I love talking about music. I could go for 2 hours, obviously. But if anybody ever wants to talk about songwriting or tips or various things you can try to make songs, give me a shout. I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah. Sounds good. And then I put your YouTube in the comments as well, so people can check it out. So tell us a little bit about your YouTube. What are you doing on there?
I'm kind of like Timothy. I'm trying some new things. As I'm getting ready, if you followed me any at all, I'm getting ready to graduate from Southern New Hampshire University with my English creative writing degree.
Nice.
So I'm very interested in what you have to say, Timothy, on creative writing. But yeah, we're trying some new things. We're doing a lot of pulp culture. Ed's talked to me quite a few times and followed me on Facebook, and I do a lot of pulp culture stuff, movies.
Oh, music. You do lists. I'm following you right now, brother.
I do a lot of lists. I do top 10 movies, video games, toys that I've always wanted. So we're doing a lot of that. I'm brand new at this for the most part.
Yeah.
So bear with me as I get used to some of the podcasting and graphics and stuff. So I'm just learning StreamYard. I'm just learning how to get my everything like that. My wife is a very big help with that. She is very tech savvy. She has but that's me for right now, because I want to in one of my classes, like we just talked about, building my audience, and I want them to know that I'm more than just wanting to be a writer. I like to talk everything: action figures, movies, video games, you name it. So that's what I'm doing on YouTube. I'm trying to build up an audience to where I can move away from Facebook and go, and like we've talked about, like just like you said, Timothy, I want to focus on YouTube. I'm not trying to be some of the big channels that are out there in any means, but I would like to be able to YouTube. You seem to pick up more of a crowd that's not a Facebook.
Totally agree.
So
that's
where
and you just got one more follower, Dash. I'm already interested in what you had to say, because I sense already that our musical tastes line up. So maybe you and I could get together and we'll collaborate on something.
I was going to talk to you after this. We'll get together and do a music one. I'd love to have you on there, as well as I started my author vlog, if you will, becoming an author things. So I'm working on that. I've got a lot of those that are not going to be live. Those are going to be more recorded videos and putting those together. So I'm working on quite a few of those as well. So that's what I'm working at right now. But I love doing stuff like this, Ed. You know that I love just chit-chatting away on any topic out there. So this was great.
And I've joined you a couple times on yours, and always a good time. So let's see here. We have a comment from Aaron. The Linkin Park discussion panel. I don't think
I think it's good, man. I think it's good. There's a little bit of some back and forth about the new Linkin Park singer. And by the way, Aaron is a terrific writer. And
he's my editor for Corruptor. So
he's
editor for Corruptor and my upcoming series that I still haven't officially announced, because I'm waiting for the artist to join me on a Saturday morning. But he edits 2 of my books. Great writer, great editor.
Yeah,
Definitely
and also got to recommend him as graphic design. Some of our best.
He designed my Corruptor logo as well. So I've used him with many of his different hats, and they're all good hats. You got to use that guy.
But we were talking about Linkin Park. There's a little bit of back and forth about this new singer, and I personally think she's doing a terrific job. Brad, that's what the new column is. It's techniques for songwritings and things like when to use the minors, when to use the half step, when to use the dual harmony. And the new one shows the process of how he made the last song. And it kind of, the illustration is that, look, I'm the first to tell you, I'm not a very smart guy, but when you see the song come out the other end, you're like, oh, this came out really good. How'd you do that? And I show you how we did it.
Mm-hmm.
But as back to Linkin Park, I think she's doing a terrific job. And I think that those were big shoes to fill with trying to take over for Chester. Yeah. My concern was, and I wouldn't say it was an objection, and Chad Perkins gave a great answer to this. You guys know Chad? He's a writer also. Because I said something like, if I get this wrong, Aaron, shout out. But it was something like, well, hey, is this really Linkin Park or is it a new band? Because, it seemed to me like an entirely new thing, and they were kind of milking the name. And Chad said it in the nicest way, which was, hey, it's a little bit like they're trying to continue Chester's legacy. I was like, okay, well, I can respect that then. Sometimes I don't like necessarily when bands get new singer and new guitar player and everybody's different and they keep the name. Yeah. Like it's just they're trying to, well, speaking directly, I always think they're just trying to not lose fans because the reality is that's kind of a new band. But I will say that's not any kind of a dig. I like the new song. I thought she did one heck of a job.
Yeah, Chester's wife was very behind her.
I didn't know any of this, so please share whatever facts. I only, like I say, I know I talk out of both sides of my mouth. Like, actually, I really enjoyed the song, so I hope it didn't seem like I was ripping on it in some way.
Not at all.
But you know what I mean? I'm skeptical of corporate type things.
But the band, I look at it like the band lost their singer. That doesn't mean they now have to go into retirement. Right. And they're going to try to find something. Because, I've seen Alice in Chains got a new singer. Stone Temple Pilots got a new singer. And generally, a lot of the bands will just try to go with a sound alike. Like, who can we get that will sound the most
that would be
like
Journey.
Scott Weiland?
Right.
Yeah, or Journey.
Right.
You find a guy that can karaoke as good as Steve Perry, probably with a better voice than him now, considering the years.
You're right.
But that's, a lot of bands will do that. They go for the sound alike, and by them grabbing her, they're not going to get a sound alike. They're not going to get someone that sounds like her. And I'm someone who comes at it from a place of, I never really loved Linkin Park to begin with, so I haven't listened to the new song because the old songs didn't really mean anything to me. They're a band that I heard, I listened to, but never really connected with, where it's not like if I hear them, oh my gosh, turn that off. It's more, okay, that's fine. It's good for the background, but it was never, I rushed out and bought the CD or I rushed out and bought the album. I would hear it. It was perfectly unoffensive, but it never grabbed or moved me. So hearing about the new singer, I'm like, I'm not really the audience to argue for or against it, because I was just one who heard them on the radio and they were fine.
Yeah.
I'm just chuckling at this comment we have there. Can you give me money to buy cigarettes and alcohol? If that's trolling, that's master level. Well done.
Yeah.
That is master level trolling right there.
All right. So yes.
My wife wanted to add a song real quick.
Okay.
She wants "Live and Let Die" by Paul McCartney.
Okay.
Gone.
He wants to go. You know what? I can see that one needing to go. And I thought of something. If you guys are willing to come back, we should do this again in December, but for Christmas songs.
Oh yeah,
I'm there.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because when we were doing the first song to be axed, I put Mariah Carey.
He's an alcoholic and beggar. Well, good for you. I'm straight edge, so sorry, wrong crowd.
Yeah, straight edge,
Yeah.
straight edge.
Same here. We're all straight edges here.
Nice, beautiful. All right, so the straight edgers can offer you. I can get you a Fugazi or Minor Threat CD. How about that?
That's true.
All right.
Oh, we got a great troller. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
You haven't made it on YouTube until you got a troller. So.
Yeah,
troll.
Dash. Thanks for saying that. Congratulations, Ed.
They want beer. They want cigarettes. We're all straight edge in this room, so apologies, but I will happily forward you, the entire Minor Threat catalog, and it will change your life.
Yeah.
You'll be angry and straight edge, and then people drink. You want to punch them, so it's all good. All right, so let's see. Yes, we're getting some laughs at the troll. The troll's not quitting, so all right, though. They like Mariah Carey, so we'll have to eliminate Mariah Carey for the sake of the troll.
Yeah.
You want me to
and alcohol in the eggnog. We're eliminating that too.
Yeah.
Once
I'm
December
gonna
rolls
go ahead.
around.
I'm going to go ahead and put the troll in timeout if that's okay with you.
Oh no, we're
Yeah.
good. We are good.
Mariah Carey's already defrosting anyways as we speak. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Right around Halloween, she'll be
She's
there.
playing like a mile from my house at this Indian casino, and that will be her official defrosting. It's like
yeah,
2 weeks from now, I think. So it begins in Highland. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly share up my YouTube page. I'll put the link in the chat. So I have a YouTube as well, trying to build it. Trolls are trying to join us. So yeah, we're gonna ignore the trolls, but hey, welcome. Thank you for coming. We love you too.
Awesome.
We love all our viewers, all 5 of them, as we were pointed out. So it's all good. So we're putting in the chat the link for my YouTube channel. It's definitely still a work in progress. And yeah,
Let's see.
Come in, I do-
Ed? If not, I'm gonna get you right now.
I do little 1-minute book reviews. Those are my book breaks. Those are something I do for fun. I need to get back to it. I have a weird plan for one that I will see if it works out, but I do those. I'm way behind. I owe like 5 people reviews, so I haven't forgotten about you. But after Comic-Con, I had COVID and no voice. So now that my voice is back and strong, I will start doing my reviews for everyone out there. And yeah, let me see. All right, so drawing and listening, fun stuff. All right, so he's enjoying it. Lori, what is up? Good to see you.
Right.
Hope you're doing well. I've done Lori's show. She gives us a nice 2-hour interview. So if you ever go to Lori's show, you will reveal shit you did not want to reveal. That's all I can say. Lori will get you to say something you shouldn't say, and I always end up doing it. So you're right at the end, Lori. So what our discussion was today was what songs should we retire out of existence? And if you have one, let us know. It was all music based today, but glad to see that you're here. And we've been engaging with a troll who wants us to get drunk, but we're all straight edge in the room, so the troll has failed.
That's great. She said, "Get rid of everything Nickelback."
Oh, see, I'm with you. I had this debate with a friend the other day, and he's like, "No, you just don't see the merit." And there were one. I was talking earlier how I've been used to record concerts for bands, and when they were first coming onto the scene, Nickelback was one of the bands I was sent to go record, and like that was when I really stopped doing that as much. I'm like, now it's work. That was like a job that sucks, and I'm done with it. So Lori, I am 100% with you on the Nickelback one. And yeah, real quick, we have no campaign. So hey, if Lori, if you have a campaign you want to share, drop it in the comments. I don't think you do right now. You're just probably waiting to get books from your campaign, but welcome. And then Timothy, welcome back. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap things up now. So if you have anything else you would like to share and promote, let us know. So Timothy, tell us where we can find you and
the easiest way to find me these days, I'm a Substack fella. I'm under Timothy B. Fling. The name is Earth's Mightiest Substack. And I guarantee that it'll be a fun ride for you. That's especially based on the kind of conversations we had today. And I think it's something that you guys would really dig. The emphasis being on creative writing content. That's something to keep the readers engaged and to keep them coming back. You've got to provide content. And I think that, Ed, you're doing a nice job with this, because that's something, hey, it's great we always want to promote our stuff, but it's a little bit of you make a deposit before you make a withdrawal, right? So for the readers, here's something for you. By the way, if you like this, you might like my new book. So that's what we're trying to do. That's over there on Substack. And like I say, the YouTube is the other good way. Once a week, you'll see me on there talking about other creators, and also we're doing the new UFO podcast, which has been pretty popular so far. And please consider this you guys' invitation for either one of those.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Yeah, I definitely love to join you for that.
And I guess I should mention, I think Lori Calcaterra is the best.
Yes, and she says the same for you. So she agrees. We all mutually agree. These are our favorite people in this room. I was excited because all the people that I brought in today are some of my favorite creators, and Dash is doing some fun stuff. If you go on his Facebook or his Instagram, he's always giving us polls and surveys and rating movies and trying to pick winners, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I would love to do kind of go with Dash, and him and I can dissect movies. We'll take every Alien movie and rank them from worst to best. So
I'm ready for that one. I'm ready for that one.
Yeah, I would love that.
All right, and then yes, Killer Karen, that's Lori's show, and then she has the link for her Kickstarter, which is Avalon 1 through 6. It's in the chat. Here is the link. So click over there, support Lori. She's amazing. And
where do we find Killer Karen?
Yeah, where's Killer Karen? Let us know for that one. So let's see if she puts it in there. All right, so
she does the Tuesday morning brew too.
Following.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's where I've joined her for her 2-hour discussions where you end up regretting something you said. If you don't, you're doing it wrong. You're like, oh damn, you got me talking, and I called out a comic shop like by name. I'm like, shit, I normally am good about not calling them out by name, but Lori, you're powerful, and you I'll blame you. It's all Lori's fault. That's what I'll say. All right, so
there we go.
There we go on her YouTube. Definitely go follow Lori's YouTube. Got lots of good stuff to follow. Follow my YouTube. follow Timothy's, follow Dash's. They're all doing some fun and great content, and it's not only related to one thing. We try to keep things diverse. So, Dash, tell us where we can find you and if you'd like to promote anything.
Right now, I'm on YouTube, as you see, as Ed's got up here on the screen. You can follow me at Facebook as well, Instagram, all under Dash Hooper. I just started. If you like book reviews, my friend Amber and Dana, we're on Spotify. We just put our first one up. It's a Dash of Reading. Let me see if I can get that on there. Dash of Reading on Spotify. It's really great. We're just new at that. So again, I'm new at all this podcasting stuff. I'm an old military guy who's finally got some stay-at-home. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I'm trying to fill my time as a homeschooling dad and staying home while my wife is doing the teaching job. She's a school teacher as well, so I'm doing all that. And so I'm Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. It's great, but I appreciate anybody that follows me. And you guys, it's been a great time to be up here today, Ed, with you guys, and Timothy. Nice meeting you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, and everybody that's out there. We will be back again next week with another group of amazing creators. Same time, same place, YouTube or Facebook at 9 a.m. Pacific. So tune in next week and have a great rest of your weekend.
Peace.